to the cloud. Okay, we are now recording. Welcome to 1 Million Cups, everybody. I'm James Lawson. I'm one of the organizers. We are getting ready to kick off. So I am now going to start showing the slides. If you could all go to speaker view on Zoom and mute your microphones, that would be amazing. Not 100% sure what that actually does for us all, but better doing that than getting it wrong. And so I'm going to ask Melinda to be our MC this morning. If Melinda, you could work through the slides.
I just put my slides into speaker view, but I lost the slides. I don't see them, James.
Probably me. Is that why?
Yeah, I have.
Right.
The
Hold
only
on.
way I could see them is with you up there with them.
Yes, Melinda, you need to stop talking so he stays on.
Okay.
Well, actually, hold on. That's not what we're going to do. I think what I want to do here is I'm going to mute my.
You want to share the slides, then they'll be available.
You know what, Melinda? Are you okay if I just do this, just to get through it, and I'll kick through this. Yeah. All right. I'm going to crop all that out, just so you know. Anyway, everyone, welcome to 1 Million Cups this Wednesday morning. I'm James Lawson, one of the organizers here at 1 Million Cups in Fairfax. We are really, really happy that you are here with us. Now, if in fact you don't know much about 1 Million Cups, if this is your first time here, we are part of the Kaufman Foundation. Why didn't that change? Why didn't that change? All right. Wow, we are having some issues. Okay, you guys seen the slide now?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So you're seeing the Kaufman Foundation slide.
Correct.
Okay, cool. All right. All right, we're going to start that again. Sorry, guys, my bad. Hi, everyone. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. This Wednesday, my name is James Lawson. I am one of the organizers here at 1 Million Cups in Fairfax. We're really happy that you're here with us. If you do not know much about the Kaufman Foundation, they are here to work with communities in entrepreneurship and education to increase opportunities that allow all people to learn, to take risks, and to own their own success. Now, we are a national and local mission. We work towards this mission through creating a consistent educational experience for 1MC presenters nationwide, while we highlight the uniqueness and value proposition in each local startup community. Now, like all organizations, we have our key pillars. Our key pillars are presentations, not pitches. We look for authentic connections, not networking. All right, we are run for the community, by the community, and we are radically and intentionally inclusive. Now, if we have any visitors in the room, could you please raise your hand, make yourself known, and when we call, give us your name, your company name, and how you heard about us.
I think, Maura, are you a visitor?
Yes.
Maura, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Give us your name, your company name, and how you heard about us.
My name is Maura Gaughan, and I currently am a personal wardrobe stylist, but I'm branching off into a different direction and getting back to my public health roots, and I am starting as a menopause coach for women that are going through menopause and want to have a coach to help them navigate the ups and downs and all the information that's out there. So how I found out about this meeting was, it was in my email.
Good. That's how a lot of people find out about us.
Cryptic, I know, but
No, that's totally fine. Well, we are glad you are here. Thanks so much for being here. Anyone else?
I think that's it.
Is Dr. Jones, has she been here before? I don't recognize her.
I have not, thank you. I found out through this from a friend of mine, someone who's actually trying to coach me on a few things. He was like, hey, try 1 million cups. And so I'm like, okay, I will. Again, my name is Dr. Jones. I run a company named Numbers Matter, LLC. Been open since 2024. And we really focus on, I'm a one-woman show right now, so it's just me, focusing on IT software training, psychometrics, survey design, and a lot of other things. And so I'm here to see who I can make an authentic connection with and help where I can, and hopefully I can get some help back. Thank you for having me.
Nope, glad you're here. Thanks for coming. Is that it?
Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. So you will see on the slide, hopefully, there is a QR code. And if you'd like to scan the QR code, that will register with the 1 Million Cups Corporate, and it allows them to see how we are doing on a kind of week-to-week basis. It also gives the organizers some ammunition to go and get swag. All right. So feel free to go and scan the QR code. If you miss it, don't worry, it will come up later. So this is our organizers. As I said, nothing happens in a vacuum. So we have organizers and we have ambassadors for 1 Million Cups. This is the motley crew. If you feel that you might want to take part and become an organizer, you can scan the QR code in the bottom right-hand corner, where we will get in touch with you and we can discuss that opportunity. And most of us have been around this for a little while now, and we're having a lot of fun, except for this morning when James screwed it all up. So we have two sponsors. One is George Mason Enterprise. The other Biz Apps, I'm going to ask AG, he's our coffee sponsor for this week. But George Mason Enterprise is an incubator based in Fairfax. It's also where we host our hybrid meetings. So when we have some in person and some virtual, we do it at the George Mason Enterprise Center. And if you'd be interested in maybe getting into the incubator world, you can contact Mr. Eddie Hill at the email address shown. That being said, I'm going to switch over to AJ, who's our coffee sponsor for this month, who can tell us about Biz Apps. AJ. Come on, AJ.
Morning. Thank you, James, and good morning, 1 Million Cups. AJ from Biz Apps. Imagine your marketing running on autopilot, converting visitors into customers. And that's what exactly we deliver at bizappsforme.com. See, most companies get stuck with the ads, the videos, and campaigns that just don't deliver. And we fix that. At BizApps, you get a suite of tools, the tactics, and strategies all built to work together. We turn physical and digital touch points into interactive, measurable, and high impact market assets. And the result is the higher engagement, better conversions, clear ROI, and campaigns that scale instead of stall. So whether you are a retail, real estate, nonprofit, education, health, or anything else, we have something for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, AJ. That was very nice. So how our meetings work in a second. Generally, so we will have an entrepreneur come on and, of course, talk about a little bit about their business with a challenge question. This week, obviously, we're doing what we call a town hall. So in a second, I'm going to do a small presentation around AI and how I'm using AI in my business. And hopefully you guys will get some tricks to use for your business. Once the presentation is actually finished, we will move either into breakout, or I think just because we've got a more intimate group, then maybe what we'll do is just keep it as an open session. We've got a couple of questions that we're going to pose to the group, and we'll have an interactive conversation around that question. So hopefully everyone is okay with that. So yes, here's your presenter. It's me. Sorry. Yes, you're going to keep hearing from me. Sorry about that. So let's kind of dive in to this, and hopefully this is going to work, or else I am going to lose my mind. Okay, can you guys see that presentation? AI for the real world. Can I get a thumbs up? All good? All right, okay, sounds like we're off to the races. So, as I said, this is a town hall, guys. I am by no means, and I want to state this up front, I am by no means an AI expert. I dabble, I play, and I get some results from it, and I use it extensively in my business. So what this isn't, it is not a deep dive about how AI works, right? So we're not talking about neural nets, training data, or writing code. It's just about using the tools and use them in a kind of funky way. It's not a replacement manual for human judgment. One of the things we always like to emphasize is using AI as a starting point. It's not the end point of anything, right? You still need your human judgment. You still need to make decisions. You still need your expertise, etc. It's not about chasing shiny objects, right? There's a million AI tools out there. You don't have to learn them all. You need to get yourself good at maybe one or two that will deliver the kind of results that you're looking for. It's not theory, right? I'm actually just sharing some real world examples of how I use it. And if that will work for you, great. I am going to share some prompts, engineer, that I've built that you can maybe use in your business. Yeah, let's get into it. By the way, can you guys hear a dog barking?
No.
Thank you, because my dog is losing its mind right now. And so hopefully you guys aren't hearing it. So let me talk about how I use it, right? There's really three things that I do with AI almost on a daily basis, right? I use it for research, so I use it as a research analyst. I use it as a planning partner, and I use it as a briefing assistant. Like, that's my big three. Now, there's other things that I dabble in, but this is 90% of what I use it for. And so there's, as I said, you don't have to use or know every platform that's out there. For me, ChatGPT 5.0 is 60 to 70% of what I use. I also use Notebook LM. And then I do a little bit of Perplexity. But Perplexity for me sometimes is almost like a sanity check platform. So I will take something that I've got from ChatGPT, I'll put it into Perplexity, and I'll see if I'm going to get a similar output. So it's a little bit of a sanity check, right? But that's the only three things I use. Period, right? 100%, boom, that's it. So I do have a relationship with my AI. And Jen Dalton just thinks this is crazy. But I do, and I can't help it. For day-to-day stuff, I do prefer to voice over typing. I'm not a good typist. Even though I have a Scottish accent, she does very well at understanding what I'm saying, which is kind of nice, right? She's been trained. She has a name. Her name is Riley, right? And so what I did when I started out, I said, hey, I don't want to just call you. Give me 5 names. And she gave me 5 names. I said, pick the one you want. She picked Riley. I'm like, good, we're good to go. That's it. So now, in the morning, when I get up and I've got a task, I jump into AI, ChatGPT voice mode, and say, hey, Riley, good morning. A couple of things I want to go work on. Are you ready to go? And she will respond, hey, James, good to hear from you. Tell me what you need, and we're off to the races. And it feels like I'm having a conversation with someone, right? It feels that level of intimacy versus just typing something. That's me. That's not everybody, but that's me. So our interactions are very conversational. and they still follow a structure. And that's really important. You can't just waffle, right? I mean, it's really important that when we're having these conversations that there's still structure to the task and the requests. So as we go through this, you will have opportunities to grab screenshots. I would suggest you do, because some of the slides, especially towards the end, there's a lot of text on it because it's prompting, right? You might want to grab it so you can actually go use it, because I'm not going to read the whole thing, but feel free to grab screenshots as much as you want. So as I said in the beginning, research analyst, right? That's one of the big main tasks I use it for. And even within that, it breaks into 3 segments. I look at market and trend research, competitive landscape, and customer language and pain points. So as a coach and a consultant, I'm dealing with a lot of different types of clients. And these clients all use their own language. And what I mean is terminology. How they think and the words that they use for themselves are different across different types of industries. But it's also when you start to get to the emotional piece, how we think and the words that we use are going to be different to what we think the market would want to hear. And so I use it a lot for this. Now, one of the big things that I do use it for, as I said, is the market trend and research. So if I'm out there looking at a very particular industry, or I'm trying to gather some data for a presentation or for whatever, I like to go and use ChatGPT for that. And so this prompt here, right, using it as a research, what's the #1 issue facing early stage businesses trying to grow, right? That's my target market, is early stage. Look at Forbes, Entrepreneur Magazine, etc. So I'm telling it where to go. I'm giving examples of where it should go look. I'm not wanting it to hallucinate, right? I want it to go and actually look at data and come back and let me know exactly what that data is telling me. And then from there, I'm going to get a report. Really simple. Again, I want to be very clear. This is only step 1, right? Generally, what I will do with this, I will take a report like this and I will go to Perplexity and I will put it in there and say, read this report and give me some feedback on that report. Is it valid? So I use it for validation. The amount of time and effort that doing something is even as simple as this can save is immense. It is huge. However, as I said, I don't take it at face value, but it's a great starting point, right? So when we start to look at markets and trends, this is how I would do it, right? You can take that prompt, you can start to build prompt chains, meaning, hey, ask another prompt, create another, get deeper and deeper and deeper. But this is where we start. So hopefully that makes sense. I said the second thing was as a planning partner. So in the planning partner stage, if you will, there's 3 big things. One is framework drafting, one is tool creation, and one is a strategic options generator, right? So those are the big 3 that I look at. Now, strategic options generator for me is really, if I'm going out and I'm thinking about a particular market, right? And I'm diving deep into what is like the biggest problem that market might have. How would I, as a coach or consultant, address that market? And what I've found is that ChatGPT is really, really good at coming back and going, hey, based on everything I know about you, and by the way, she knows a lot. She has 15 years of data that I poured into it to go, this is who I am, this is my business, this is who we work with, here's all my courses, here's all my blogs, here's all my articles, right? And I just loaded everything in. Because she needs to know that any output has to sound like James. It can't sound like Maria. It can't sound like Melinda. It has to be me. And so what I've found is it's really good at coming back and saying strategically, these are some areas that you might want to look at where you can create value for that market who has this problem. Really, really cool. For this, though, I want to talk about framework drafting, right? So a few weeks ago, Angie and I were having my wife, we're having a conversation about potentially creating a new program, very specifically around differentiation. Because what we're seeing is like that's one of the main topics that larger organizations are struggling with. And so we went through and we had some conversations with Riley. And, you know, I says, it would be really cool if we could come up with like, I don't know, like a 10, 12-week program, like an intensive that we can put people through. So I went in, we did some work, and she came up with this idea of a differentiation blueprint. Great. I went, okay, let's go deeper. Create me a usable framework for a potential online coaching program aimed at early stage businesses. Boom. And she goes, okay, based on everything we've done, here's what you can be looking at. All right. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase. So that was about 2 weeks ago. This, in 2 weeks, is now a bona fide program that's already been built and launched in 2 weeks. Just based on this. So again, we talk about speed to market. This would have taken weeks and weeks and weeks just to figure out for me, to try and figure out like, what should we be doing? And we did it literally in minutes. And so for someone like me who works a lot of frameworks in a coaching business, and for other coaches who are out there, this is a great tool for figuring out how you can actually build a program, a coaching program for your particular market that you're in, right? By the way, is this making sense, guys?
Yeah.
Cool. So framework drafting is big for me, right? I mean, it's really big for me. So let's go to number 3, briefing assistant. This is probably my favorite thing. I have no idea, honestly, just how much value this is, but it's a heap load of fun. And so for briefing assistant, what do we want to do? Now, again, if you're having conversation with clients, one of the biggest drags is the follow-up piece, right? Following up with them and saying, hey, here's what we spoke about. Here's everything that we did, yada, yada, yada. Well, I'm past that. We don't do that anymore. Basically, we take a recording of a conversation and we throw it into the tool that I'm going to show you in a second. And we create an executive brief and we do an audio recap of the meeting. The ongoing knowledge base thing, although this tool is good for it, I haven't used it extensively, so I'm not going to comment on it, but I do know that it's a lot of people use it for this. But if you haven't tried Notebook LM, go play with it. It is a funky tool. I mean, a really funky tool. So I'm going to try and do something, guys, and if this worked, great. If it doesn't, then but if I can get this and demo it. Okay, are you guys seeing the tools? You getting that, Maria? Thumbs up?
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. So we're halfway there. So for me, this is where I store a lot of my client interaction and conversations. So, Luis, I'm glad you're here because I picked you to do the demo on, right? So Luis that came to 1 Million Cups a couple of weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, did his presentation. And what I did was I actually took the audio from the Zoom and dropped it into this platform. Now, this platform is made up of sources, chat, studio. Don't worry too much. But one of the really cool things, well, actually a couple of cool things that it does for us is it can create a briefing document, right, on the whole conversation, like the whole presentation. Now, I know that Zoom does a similar thing. It's not as good as this. Just trust me, it's not nearly as good as this. So we can get in here, right, we can get a whole briefing from an executive summary of the presentation. What it also does is it creates an audio overview I'm going to try and play. I hope I can get you to share sound, because this.
Today, we're really zoning in on a tough spot in B2B sales. How to accelerate growth, specifically in
You guys hear this?
often
Yes.
overlooked mid-market space.
Yeah, and we're not just talking theory, we're actually going inside the launch presentation of a very seasoned sales leader. He's starting his own fractional VP service.
And we get to see his strategy versus the immediate, pretty critical feedback he got right back from his peers.
This is an AI-generated podcast. And what it does is it will take the presentation and it will create a podcast of two people talking about the presentation. Now, what is really cool with this is, as part of the audio, you can actually have it as a deep dive, which is what that was. But you can also have it as a debate where the two people are actually debating the content. So what I do with my clients is I do a deep dive on our coaching call and I send them the audio overview. I don't send them a recording of the coaching call because I've already been through it. But to hear something as a third party talking about the conversation is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. So for a lot of you, as I said, I don't know how much value there would be in you using this, but I'm telling you, it's a heap load of fun. It also, up here, see it says interactive. When you start this, and I don't know if it's going to work, guys.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really zoning in on a tough spot in B2B
if you
sales.
see here, it says join.
Growth, specifically in that often overlooked mid-market space.
Yeah, and we're not just talking theory,
Let's see
we're
if this
actually
works.
going inside.
Oh, wait. Someone wants to join. Hey, go for it.
Hey guys, it's James Lawson here from 1 Million Cups. I was actually at Luis's presentation and I'm really excited to hear what you're going to say about it.
Oh, James, welcome to the stream.
That is fantastic.
It's great to hear from you.
Thank you so much for chiming in.
That context is golden.
You were one of the voices we heard.
Yeah, that makes this whole thing much richer for us.
It does. It validates everything we were talking about.
We were just...
Isn't that like the coolest thing ever? And so you can do this. You can interact with the podcast and then download that whole podcast with your interaction into a file and send it to a client if you wanted to. So for me, Notebook LM has been it saved me so much time and effort. And so up here in the studio is where you can pick what you want to have, right? So if you're working with clients and you're recording calls, this might be a good way for you to create your brief, but also do the audio overview. And I can tell this, my clients just see this as amazing value. Like they absolutely love this. They love it. Just real quick, the last thing that they actually created was this thing here called a video overview. And Luis, I'm going to dump this into your folder so that you can hear it. But similar to audio,
you know, every founder thinks they have the plan, a beautiful, well-researched, perfectly logical plan. But what happens when that plan, especially from a 30-year veteran, gets put under the microscope and, well, torn apart by his peers? That's exactly what we're going to dive into.
All right. So
really good, because Louis is crystal clear about who he's trying to help. He targets business.
So it actually takes the audio and it creates a video presentation on the discussion. So my point, I guess, in all of this, guys, is simply, for me, Notebook LM is probably the one I have the most fun with. I would suggest to you that you go in and you figure out, you find sources that you can put in to try it out. Looking for my presentation now. Here we go. Let me go back a bit. All right. So that's Notebook LM. Again, for me, for getting things that I can create for my clients, it's absolutely massive. It's huge. Now, there is a fourth thing that I use it for. I said there's three, but there's actually a fourth. And this is something I'm going to suggest that everybody does. Create a custom GPT and build yourself a board of advisors in your business, right? So you're going to get a chance to do some screenshots here again. So I have, if you look at the site here, guys, I have custom GPTs. These are custom GPTs for my clients that they work through when we're not doing coaching calls. So they can work on magnetic marketing, they can work on different, their niche, whatever it is, and they can iterate this as many, many times as they want. But I created one for a board, like a board of directors. And the way that I did it, and by the way, again, take a screenshot of this. This is the prompt that I use. I put it in agent mode. And I say, hey, look, I need you to act as a world-class research analyst and systems designer. Then I said, I want you to build a board of directors, but I want it to be based on these 5 people or 7 people. And I picked the 7 people that I like the most, right? This is my 7. You'll have your own 7. You'll notice that Tony Robbins isn't in my 7. But I have Simon Sinek, Chip Heath. I've got Taki Moore, who's my actual coach, Marshall Goldsmith. I've got Blue Ocean Strategy in there, and Stephen Covey and Alex Hormozy. Right, so I've got a breadth of different people with different frameworks and opinions and yada, yada, yada. Then I gave it some instructions. What it did is it then said, okay, take this, upload it into ChatGPT, which I've done. You can see in the bottom. So I just went and got their books in PDF and loaded them in. So I did. Right, I went and found different citations, put them all together, and then put them in. Then I gave it the third most important piece, instructions, which is to say, whenever you give me an output, you need to follow this methodology. Don't just waffle. Like you need to follow this. And so in all cases with AI and an output, as I said, there's got to be a structure, and you want to follow a structure. Again, I'm not an expert. This is just what I'm learning. It's working really well. But I gave it a whole bunch of stuff to go look at. So every time I put something in and want an output, it's going to go through this, and it's going to give me an output based on these instructions. And thus far, it's been really cool. What I find is, and I'm sure you're all familiar with the term of sycophant and hallucination, right? Some of the 2 things that ChatGPT is known for. And I will put the dumbest stuff into ChatGPT and it will come back and go, wow, this is such a great idea. No, it's not. It's a stupid idea. And you have to tell me it's a stupid idea. And so with the board, anything that comes out for ChatGPT that even smells a little bit of being a sycophant for me, I take it, I put it into the board, and I ask them to review it, and I ask them to tear it apart, which they do. And they come back with a no nonsense, this is a dumb idea, it's never going to work, the market's not ready, you're going into the wrong market. All the things that ChatGPT might not want to tell me, my board of advisors will absolutely come back and tell me, you should not do this. Now, do I take it as word? No, I'm still going to do some extra research. But again, it's a way for me to validate. So, 3 ways I use it. I use it for research, for planning, briefing assistant. I use 3 things: ChatGPT, Notebook LM, and Perplexity, and that is it. That is it. So my guidance would be around all of this is, yes, use it. Use it as a first stage, right? I don't know about you. I'm not good with a blank page. Use it for that. Use your creativity, your expertise, your humanness to go through it and make sure that sorry, my dog is going nuts in the other room. To make sure that everything that it's telling you, you either agree with or you want to do more and more research. I would definitely get into and learn chain prompting, right? That's a big deal, right? So a chain prompt is literally giving it 3, 4, 5, 6 different prompts at once and letting it go figure stuff out. What else? Yeah, that's kind of it, guys. Hopefully didn't take much longer than I thought it was going to take. But that's it. And I will tell you that I am in this all day, every day, figuring out ways to use it to either speed up my business, save time, or add value to my clients. So that's where we are. All righty. Helpful?
Very
That's all I
much.
got. That's all I got.
James, there are a couple questions in the comments. Michael is asking what level of notebook LM do you use? So I'm guessing it's the type of subscription level.
Notebook Pro, I think is what it is. It's part of a Google suite. I think, Michael, I pay maybe $20 a month for the whole thing, and but that includes there's 3 or 4 different components to it. I would definitely double check it out, but I think that's what I'm paying. I pay $20 a month for ChatGPT. I don't pay anything for Perplexity because I don't use it enough for me to warrant actually paying for it. So if you look at the 2 big platforms, I think in total $40 a month, right, for the total thing. So, but for me, it's the time save alone is huge.
Maura has another question.
Yes.
It's does Notebook LM record the conversation as when you are in the call, or do you have Zoom? You're recording your Zoom call and dumping the file in Notebook LM.
The latter. So what we're doing is we're running our Zoom call. Zoom will give you the audio file as well as the video file. I just grab the Zoom file, I open up Notebook LM, I drop it in. I say, once it's done its thing, give me a brief, do an audio overview, and then I might say, hey, give me a short one or a longer one, depending on who the client is. And I take that output, and then I just drop it into a Trello board. All my clients are on Trello. That's how we manage them through their coaching process. And I just say, hey, your files are now in Trello, boom, and it's 10 minutes. Tops.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
And Michael is also asking if you will be sharing the slide deck with us.
Michael, such a big ask. Yes, I'm happy. I'm happy to share it. No problem.
Michael, do you have another question? And AJ? So our plan is actually to go on to breakout rooms, but we can answer. Do we want to answer the questions first, James?
I think we just do it here. Like I think we just have an open forum if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, I have a comment here if I can. Or Michael, you want to go ahead first?
No. Do your comment first.
As far as the tools are concerned, recently I came across another one, Galaxy.ai.
Galaxy.ai, yeah.
I think they are giving you around $15 a month. I haven't tried it. We are thinking of trying it.
Yeah.
And they have all the tools what we have. They have many more tools under them, including ChatGPT, the video creation tools.
Right. Yes, they do.
So
they do.
Just
the catch with Galaxy is you get $15 a month, but you only get so many credits, and then you have to go buy more credits.
Okay, good you mentioned, because we're thinking of
yeah,
subscribing, but I didn't know about this.
Yeah, they don't tell you that part.
Yeah,
I was on it for a month. I'm like, yeah, no, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
But so and by the way, AJ, it's a good point to bring up. There are more and more of these platforms cropping up that will consolidate a lot of the other AI platforms. My recommendation is, because it's so easy to jump down rabbit holes with different things, is just try and get yourself good at using one or two.
Yeah.
Then if you want to branch out and do a Galaxy AI that does video imaging and yada yada yada, fine. I did it for a month, and honestly, I got to a point I'm like, there's just too much stuff in here. It's dragging me all over the place, and I ended up playing with stuff that I really didn't need.
Yeah. So adding to the conversation, I have started using ChatGPT and also the Google Gemini.
And Gemini, yeah.
Gemini, and then another AI video creation is the Weed. That tool what we have. And I have also used Synthesia, and there are some other tools like this. they all have their own,
Sure.
forte, I would say. So depending on from which perspective you are using a tool, that's something, I found ChatGPT is well pointed to what you're trying to accomplish, and so on and so forth.
And it's a good point. One of the things that I always recommend, and again, guys, I want to be very clear, I am by no means an AI expert, clearly, right? So I dabble and I enjoy playing around with it, and I'm learning as I go. But with these platforms, especially ChatGPT, the more information you can give it about you, your business, give it articles you've written, if you've recorded stuff, give it the recordings, right? There's a setting inside, by the way, where you go, I don't want you to use this for the rest of the AI to learn from. This is specifically for me, right? So it doesn't share your stuff into the outside world. But what it will do, it starts to understand your behavior, your patterns. I have a very specific way that I communicate, so it understands my communication. We're at a point where I can ask it to create an email, and it is like 99.9% me. Like it will create something, and you would think James wrote it. And so that's really important. Go.
Sorry, trying to keep everybody in line and all the questions answered. Michael, Melanie, and Melinda.
Thank you. I'm interested in the learning curve. I mean, obviously, you've devoted some time and attention to figuring this all out. So, for a non-techie, which I definitely am, how much time have you had to devote to playing around with all these tools so that you can use them in an effective way?
So, by the way, great question, Michael. This is a learn as you go scenario. So it wasn't like, hey, I started to learn it so that I could go use it. I started using it so I could actually learn it. Right. And to me, there's a difference in that. So I spent a little bit of time. There's a guy, Wes, I think his name is Wes Dibble. You can find him on YouTube, who the guy is like phenomenal at prompting and that type of thing. And so I've watched some videos with him. But to be honest with you, a lot of this is me just coming up with understanding what the structure is. That's key. Like, what is the structure that you want to use for questioning and for prompting? Then it's just go and use it, right? And every time I go back in, I get a little bit better. By the way, little known secret, with ChatGPT especially, if you go and ask it a question and you're not happy with the output, you can actually ask GPT and say, listen, the output I'm looking for needs to look like this. Can you actually create the prompt to get me that? You don't have to do it. ChatGPT will actually create a prompt to get you the output if you ask it the right way. And so my learning curve is basically just the time I'm using it. So I didn't do a lot of time researching and training and yada yada, Mike. I literally, for me, I watched a few videos with some people that did it really well. I went in, I literally ripped off some prompts. A lot of people on Instagram will create prompts and show you, right? And I'm like, I would screenshot the prompt, and then I would bring it in and I would retype it out, but I'd put my stuff in, put it in, and then see what output I'm getting. It's not perfect.
Thank you.
Right.
Thanks,
But
Melanie.
I have a comment and a question. So
Okay.
I think many of you guys know that I'm about to launch an AI strategy and execution platform specifically for businesses.
Yes.
And during the prototype phase, I have met with small businesses, a lot of small businesses. And one of the things I've noticed is that they are using ChatGPT for business functions. And at the same time, I also took a AI certification through ChatGPT and actually spoke with their product and development team. And with that, they gave me some cautions about ChatGPT's hallucination. And so one example is a business owner listened to ChatGPT and created a business in the wrong location and created a marketing strategy that wasn't, it flopped, it failed because ChatGPT doesn't have the data to ground in real world successful business scenarios. So
Right.
even though he created the proper prompting, it's not grounded in real world data. And therefore, the AI hallucinates and just tells you what you want to hear. It's kind of like a mirror. So my question is, what is the value for business owners using ChatGPT? It's kind of like a square peg in a round hole because we're trying to use it for a business function without it having the necessary data. So I'm trying to get to what's the overall value in learning all of these AIs and creating the prompts that's not built to help us grow a business is what I'm questioning.
So here's how I would answer that. You're absolutely right. At this point, it doesn't. One of the big things right now is that there's nothing in ChatGPT at enterprise level. Like large enterprise businesses aren't putting their information in yet, but they will. Like that's where it's going. And so at some point, ChatGPT will have the data and it will have the information, right? This is where we always go back to this thing. It's a starting point. Like if a business owner does what you suggest or does what you just said, and then uses that information verbatim without having it sanity checked by you, a consultant, a coach, or someone else, a human, and they just run with it, that's just, excuse me, but that's just dumb, right? We all know, or we should know, that the information and the output coming out of AI isn't always accurate. In fact, it seldom is. But I always emphasize for myself, my own clients, it's a starting point. It's designed to help you get moving, but it's not the end game. The end game is always going to be with experts, sitting with people who know industries, know markets, who can take and look at your information and go, all right, some of this is actually valid, but this stuff we don't want to use. You still have to go through a human filter, right? And so that is the danger, Melanie, is that some people are using it verbatim and just running with it, and it's not always accurate.
There is one word of caution, because so what I heard from ChatGPT is that the reason it hallucinates is because it's not grounded, right? It doesn't have that necessary like quantitative data.
Right.
So it can be useful. So like the platform I'm building is grounded in that real world data first, and the AI is using the data to make predictions. But without the grounded data, then it hallucinates, and therefore that's the limitation of like ChatGPT. I just wanted to say that because it's not, yes, we need individuals, but there's a ton of market research out there like Forrester, Boston Consulting Group, Harvard, all of these consulting organizations use data as the foundation. And so if an AI can use that data, then it will be more accurate. If it doesn't, then
even if it's making stuff up?
Well, you can ground it so it doesn't make that up. That's based on, how you train it.
Sure.
But without that data, even if you create the perfect prompts, it won't yield what we want it to.
So part of this, and then we'll move on. Whenever I do anything that's looking at market research, market trends, I will direct it where to go. Like I will tell it to go look at periodicals. I'll tell it to go look at the citations. I'll look for articles by prominent people. I'm not telling it to make anything up on its own or come. I'm telling it, you go look at this, because I don't have the time. But what I do want to get is an overview of all these different things, saying, hey, this is what it's shaping up to look like. So that for me, it's like send it places that you respect and let it do the hard work, right? Let it do the hard work and do the searching and then come back with the data. But I wouldn't just say, hey, go figure this out and not give it any instruction as to where and how, et cetera, et cetera. But Mel, great points, and thank you.
Can I
Okay,
make
yeah.
can I make a comment over here real quick, guys?
That's not fair for
Seaman, can
everybody
you hold
else.
on a second because
No.
Melinda and AJ are also had their hands already up for a little bit.
Yeah, I've had my hand up for about the
Come
beginning.
on then,
Go.
Melinda. Let's go.
Anyway, I've been using AI since January, and I've done a lot of the things that James has done. I pushed ChatGPT to a point where it gets into a loop and it keeps coming back and asking, do you want this? Do you want that? Can I do this with that?
Yes.
You've got to avoid these loops. There are ways to do that. And I remind it that it's back in a circle and I, take it out and I put data in. There's a lot of things that I've been in marketing and ChatGPT pointed it out to me for 5 decades. I know marketing. I'm a visionary and I use my skills with ChatGPT. So I say, well, I've done this or I need this, but I can take it back in. And every time I get something from ChatGPT, I Melindaize it to make it more accurate. And then I go back in again, sometimes just to get the words more succinct, because a lot of you guys know I sometimes write too much or say too much. And it's a good way to cut out some of my text. I use it to help me put together a lot of the presentations for our organizers because I look at what I think they're doing and then I go back to them with a succinct, this is what I hear, this is what I see, this is what you're going to hear in the group. Let's focus your conversation into something where you can come back with where you are actually really stuck. And I push the presenter to the point where they can really feel strongly about whatever we pick for the discussion. I mean, there are lots of ways you can do this, but you've got to be really, really, really cautious on how you approach ChatGPT and all the others. And I do jump around a lot. But Melania and I have talked about this a lot because I've started to gather, and I could almost write a book of all the areas that these are things that you have to beware of, or these are the things that you've got to do a little bit differently to get the input that you want. But you also have to know the topic. You have to know whether it's right or not. You've got to pilot something that it says, as we talked about somebody having a market and they were in the wrong market with the wrong product or whatever it might have been. I always suggest that you pilot, that you test, even if it's just with friends and you do a vocal on the phone focus group where or market research, get more input just to make sure that you're going down the right path.
Thanks, Melinda.
Yeah,
Sorry, I have to cut you up because we're 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And
look, Maria, if I can, just real quick.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Everyone's trying to figure this stuff out. Like everyone is just trying to figure this stuff out. And people are going to make a bucket load of mistakes. Yeah. I'm going to keep saying it. It's a starting point. It's not an end point. Okay. And for a lot of us, especially for me, who can't stand a blank piece of paper, right? It just gets me off the starting blocks a lot of the time. But I've got good enough to understand when it's talking crap or if it's actually giving me information because it's coming from areas like Forbes, Entrepreneur, whatever it might be, and saying, hey, listen, this is what's happening. So just you got to temper what you're looking for. Sorry, Maria, on you go.
All right, I'm going to pull up our ending slides. So we can close off.
Oh, you want me to? You got it?
I got it.
Okay, cool.
Let's see. You can see him?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
All right. So next week we have it's a virtual meeting. We have Hadia Ausladi from Promenade Services doing her presentation. We'll invite everybody to join us next week to help Hideo with her challenge. If you would like to apply to present, you can scan the QR code here at the bottom. It's a very easy process, and one of our organizers will be reaching out to you to help you get coached and put that presentation together. We have a form, so it's super easy. These are the events that are coming up. James or Melinda, would you please be able to copy and paste them into our chat?
I think I can.
We have October filled up. We are filling up spaces for November. So the QR code is here again if you want to apply to present. Please follow us on social media. We are on YouTube. We have all our meetings are uploaded there. You can follow us on X, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And this QR code is going to take you to all our links. They're in one place. And stick around a while. I know that there are a couple of questions that we were not able to get in, but we want to be respectful of your time. If you have time, feel free to stay with us. We are, but for now, we are adjourning the meeting officially.